From the Middle is a founding member of the Odd Pods Media Network, even when they quit replying to our emails.
Oh, for the love.
Sorry, just clearing my Mountain Dew hole.
I got my phone hole cleaned today.
That's where you keep it?
You're so cerebral and you're so developed and evolved. From the Middle after dark over here.
Hey, everyone, and welcome to episode 103 of From the Middle. We are back in studio, baby. Woo! Wow.
Man.
Listen to that reverb. It is good to be back. Hey, if you're just joining us for the first time, we are a comedy, culture, entertainment, and interview-style podcast. We're three middle-class guys living in the middle of America, in the middle chapters of our lives with a point of view that's somewhere in the middle. And it has been 14 months since we've been in studio together, and this feels really good. I almost got a little emotional just now.
Here we are.
How do you guys feel about this? This is nice.
I've been wanting to do this for a long time.
Kendall's worked really hard to get a really cool setup here with multiple cameras, and we got audio situations and cables, and
We'll see if it all holds together for a whole hour.
yeah, it's held together with tape and spit and a little bit of hope and dreams. We got our mini fridge. I got a Bundaberg ginger beer. Greg's got a sparkling water. We didn't introduce Greg yet, so we'll get to him in a second. Dillon's got a Coke Zero if you're curious, as does Kendall. Greg, my good buddy, is joining us. He was a guest in episode 5. He's going to be a fourth chair kind of hanging out with us tonight.
Hello.
The episode we did, gosh, that's been a while ago. We talked about Godzilla in that episode. And just as a really nice intro into this episode, I knew you were waiting on pins and needles.
I was.
To watch the new Godzilla vs. Kong. I would love to hear your spoilerless review of said movie.
Yes, my son and I were anticipating it greatly. And my review is 2 thumbs up. It's good.
Nice.
That's it? That's all you're going to give us?
Well, if it's supposed to be spoiler free.
You want 4 thumbs?
2 thumbs,
all right.
2 toes? No, as well, and I can't even say as a Godzilla fan, because then that kind of, we can't go down that road. But it was well done, and it ended the way I thought it should have ended. You know, the plot was strong. There were good fight scenes, and it turned out the way that I thought it should have turned out.
There you go.
Yeah.
So as a fan, you feel like you were
As a fan, yeah. The 12-year-old, my inner 12-year-old was very satisfied and very happy, and my son gave it 2 enthusiastic thumbs up. And I don't read a lot of reviews, and I don't, troll online and check in and see what people are saying. But according to my son, I guess it broke or it took in more money than Wonder Woman.
Well, there you go.
And it was streaming on HBO for a month while it was still in the movie theaters. But, the fan reaction was very positive. People had a lot of, positive things to say about it. So, Godzilla King of the Monsters was kind of, I don't know, it was middle of the road. A lot of fans liked it. Some fans did not like it. This had a more positive vibe, maybe 97%, something like that. I don't know. Whereas the one previous was kind of more like 50-50. There were still a lot of fans complaining about, too much of the people, not enough of the monster fights, and action and things like that. They seem to have corrected that with Godzilla and Kong.
So this will be really good from a centrist point of view, because we talk about how sometimes diehard fans like to rip franchises apart and they can never be pleased. Other people like yourself have said, if I'm entertained for 90 minutes, it's all good. 2 thumbs up. We're not going to pick apart the storyline, and especially for a movie like Godzilla vs. Kong. But I have to test something with you, because I heard. So I listened to the Bad Friends podcast that's hosted by Bobby Lee and Andrew Santino. But in this specific episode,
do they review movies? Is that
it's comedy, culture, a little bit of everything. But Bobby's more into the geek culture stuff. And instead of Andrew Santino in this episode, it was the comedian Eric Griffin, episode 65, if you want to take a look. So Bobby said that at the beginning of Godzilla vs. Kong, there's what he calls like a Shrek-like montage where Kong is waking up in the jungle. He like grabs a tree and scratches his back.
No, he doesn't scratch his back. He scratches his rear end, I think.
He goes under a waterfall for like a shower, and he's like, they lost me there. This is the camp of people who's like picking it apart for those things. Other people are like, it was fun.
Yeah, I got a kick out of it, and I've heard people say this was more of a Kong movie.
Okay.
Yeah, it was more of a vehicle for Kong, and I agree.
But that did happen? That scene did
yes,
happen?
Yes, yeah. I mean, not the tree and the scratching of the back like you're in the shower, but it was the typical, you get up in the morning, you kind of shake off, the sleep, and then he kind of reached around, scratched his rear end, and got on with his day.
But see, why do people
bread in the toaster,
pick it apart like that?
Oh, I don't know. It's that's just some people, I think. Like you said, you can never satisfy some folks, but for me, it was just, I'm not directing movies. I'm not making movies. I don't have too much room to complain. Like you said, you go in, you check out for a while. I go see movies because I want to check out. I want to relax. I want to suspend my disbelief and just have a good time. That movie was great. I heard a guy. This was when the second Godzilla movie came out, and he compared it to the first Kiss concert that he saw. He said it was fun. It was loud. A lot of noise, a lot of lights, a lot of explosions. It was like, my first concert was Kiss, and I still have a fond memory of that. I don't follow these guys now, but I would go see them anytime.
Yeah.
Give me a free ticket, I'll go. But it reminded me of a Kiss concert. Yeah, it's just fun. It's over the top. It's just somewhat silly. It's just the spectacle of it all just makes me smile.
That's awesome. So. See, that's all we're looking for, people. Just a smile.
Yeah.
So it was almost 100
smile.
Episodes where Greg was here talking about Godzilla. We thought it only appropriate to start us off tonight with that recap. So that's fun. What else is going on, guys? It's so cool to be in the same room. I keep looking at you. There's this weird circle of glances happening right now. It's really fun.
Well, I love the review from Greg because at first I thought he was just going to say, I thought it was good and it had an ending. And I thought, well, I think most people assumed it was going to have an ending.
Straight to the point, right?
But that's great. And I still haven't watched any. Shame on me because you did such a good job at giving us some of the backstory in episode 5. But anytime I see the trailers for those movies, I instantly think of like the 2 live action G.I. Joe movies. Not because of the characters, but like as far as expectations for that kind of film. You don't go watch a live action G.I. Joe movie because you're expecting an Oscar winner.
Right.
You want funny, a little bit of funny, good action, and to be entertained. And that's exactly how I feel when I see the Godzilla versus Kong type trailers or any of those.
We went and saw it at the IMAX, and the sound was incredible. The screen was giant. We were not front row center, but we were in the center. Chase is like, these are the 2 best seats in this theater. He said, I found that out, through extensive research of watching movies, and these are the 2 seats that we need. And it was just a blast. I mean, there were maybe 6 other people in the theater, so I kind of like it when, you kind of have the theater to yourself. But it was just a fun 2 hours. We got pizza before or pizza after, I don't know. But it was just a fun, hang out with my son for a few hours, enjoy dinner, go in and watch, our favorite reptilian hero do what he does. And, it was just fun.
Before we move off of this, I think it's really cool, the father-son bonding time that you had leading up to the movie. So you started watching the old Godzilla movies and
years ago,
like the ones in the 50s.
Oh, I think, he's been around since 54. I think I was talking to a friend not long ago. We were talking about 007.
Yeah.
And she's a huge 007 fan. Was talking about, what are there, 25 movies, something like that? Well, Godzilla, the franchise, is somewhere in the 30s, I think. So, that's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
A man in a rubber monster suit has more stuff out there than 007. So it's just, I don't know. But yeah, when Chase was small, and that's when I kind of developed my love for it. It was, I don't know, I was in grade school. I'm watching Chiller Theater, New Year's Eve, Godzilla versus Kong. The first one came on. We're gathering around the big Giovanni's Pizza. We've got Pepsi. It's 1 a.m. It's just, I don't know. It's more of a nostalgic kind of sentimental thing. Oh, there's Godzilla. There's my true hero. So, I haven't grown out of it, and I brought my son along for the ride too. So there we go.
But I love that you watched through. Did you get through all of them? before?
We did not. We
Yeah.
did not. We're still working through that.
Yeah.
We'll complete that Godzilla marathon
That's
shortly. But I'm just thankful that he still wants to do stuff with me. So yeah.
That's what I was going to say. Like that seems like such a dream come true. Like I would love for like something that I love to be shared with my kids when they're old enough that like we can hang out and talk about it, and then it's like actually a shared passion.
Certainly is.
I feel like there's not a whole lot of father son, father daughter, even mother daughter relationships that ends that way, that ends up that way with something in the media that you can share and watch together. I think a lot of mothers and daughters bonded over Gilmore Girls there for a while.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. Like I've tried. My sons are 6 and 5, and I've tried several times.
That's the time to start, though.
I've tried several times to like get them into Star Wars. Didn't work out. I've tried several times to get them into the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle cartoon, and man, they're not into that either.
Have you tried Tim Capello?
That'll be next.
When do you? That's the question. When do you expose your
18,
children
18.
to Tim Capello's hip gyrations in The Lost Boys?
Yeah, no Tim Capello for a while.
But not to take it down a dark, serious road, but I didn't do things with my dad. I don't have much of a relationship with my father, and I wish. He rides motorcycles. I'd love to ride down to Bike Week, in Florida. But I'm just thankful that, Chase and I have something that we bond over and that we can enjoy together. So I've always been thankful for that. He'll bring it up. He'll be like, hey, let's go grab Skyline and go check out a movie. So I'm just thankful that that's his idea occasionally too.
Yeah.
He still enjoys my company, and I'll hold on to that as long as I can.
He's a cool dude. You've raised a very kind and sweet young man, and he's
Proud
just
of
so
him.
hideous, though. That's the only thing. Good night. The kid's like, he could be a model. It's just disgusting.
Yeah. But yeah, good. I mean, our children,
Do you
proud of both of them.
Do you guys eat bugs together?
We don't.
You don't eat bugs?
No.
You don't eat insects?
We don't eat insects together.
Do you guys eat insects?
Do you and your sons?
No, not yet.
Is that
Planning
something
on it,
you
though.
plan on doing? Okay.
Plan on it.
Cicadas?
Yeah.
Katydids?
Cicadas.
Yeah.
Kendall's been working on his segues for the last 14 months. That's what
That's
he came
how
up
I-
Here it is,
That's
man.
how I
Let's
do
talk
it.
about it.
I've been
Here it
thinking
is.
about that one
So
ever since. It's
eating-
taken 17 years for me to come up with that segue.
eating cicadas.
Eating cicadas. Have you guys heard about this?
No.
So this is so everybody's heard by now, right? 2021 is the year of the Midwest East Coast cicadas, right?
Is this
Yeah,
like
it's
the
over
murder
17
hornets? Is this like, COVID's no longer a
It's-
threat? Let's
it's
release the
African
murder
killer
hornets?
bees.
It's
Yeah.
quite possibly worse than the murder hornets. So for those of us who are unaware, so the cicadas, they live underground for like 13 or 17 years. In this case, 17 years. And every 17 years, they come out, they mate for a few weeks, and then they die.
What a life.
And
I didn't know
that's-
they lived underground.
And that's their life. So they've been living underground now for 17 years, and they're going to come out by the millions. They've already started, and the next month or two is going to be filled with the sound of cicadas. I don't know if anybody remembers. Like I remember when I was a kid, seeing just piles of cicadas around trees and light posts and things. This is the year that happens again.
I had no idea.
You didn't know this?
This is a bad year to have gotten a motorcycle.
It also sounds like what would happen to me if I ever had to go back to the office. I'd just come out of my house and die right there. Right in the yard. Wouldn't even make it to the car.
Within how much can we expect the start of this to
It's
happen?
already begun.
Okay.
It like just begun. They say end of May-ish, end of May. And then I think their life cycle is, once they're above ground, is about 4 weeks before they die. But obviously they don't all pop out at the same time. So they figure, I think we have like a good
They've got
couple months.
they've got a strategy.
The It's Already Begun felt very ominous. It was kind of like the beginning of like Independence Day, where it's like the ships are here. It's already begun.
Yeah.
That's what that
This
felt
feels
like.
more public service announcement than podcast, right?
Yeah, well, I guess so, man.
Take cover.
I
You
had
guys
no
need to look it
idea.
up. Read the news.
So back to eating them.
Yeah, so I was curious. I thought I was just trying to look up something funny, and sitting there with my wife, and we're talking about cicadas, And I'm like talking to my kids about cicadas, who decided that this is the year that they want to be really freaked out about bugs. And so like I'm like now showing them pictures of cicadas, telling them how cool cicadas are and how like you're going to be in your 20s next time this happens. This is like a big deal. And so then I'm just like, it just pops into my head. Do people eat these things? And so I looked up cicada recipes and I found multiple articles and multiple cicada recipes. And the answer is yes, people collect these things and eat them.
Instapot recipes. I just got an Instapot.
I bet you can probably find an Instapot recipes. There's like, I read about restaurants in New York that are already planning like pop-up events and things, pizzerias that are going to have cicada pizzas. So like when they first come out of the ground, they're nymphs at that point, and they're not like the big red-eyed black crunchy bug that you know of as cicadas
that we all know and love.
they're much a lighter brown, and they're softer, and apparently that's when you want to find them, and they come out at night. And so like right around now is when you would want to go out like after midnight with a flashlight, look around the bases of trees and try to find these cicada nymphs, and then put them in your freezer, kill them, and then saute them up, put them in a stir fry.
And there you go.
Encase them in some candy.
So interesting side note. That's a good segue to this.
Yeah.
Many people do not know this, but when I was in college, I ate, Katie did, just picked it right off the brick wall of our college dorm because I was wanting to impress a female. She offered me $50 to do it. So I did it. Just
Did it work?
Didn't even think anything. No, she never did pay me.
$50 is a lot of money in
It was back then in 80. What?
Nothing. What?
Did you say 1830 or 1930?
Any 30.
Yes.
Any 30.
Any of the 30s.
It was back in 1982 or 83.
Was
So,
she impressed? Did you get the $50?
I did not get the $50, and I seriously doubt she was impressed.
How did it taste?
It tasted it was crunchy, and they've got those little, not talons, but those little sharp things on their legs.
Yeah.
So it was kind of an unpleasant experience. I wouldn't do it again unless I got the money up front.
I was waiting for you to say like chicken. Everything you're
Everything
not
tastes
supposed
like
to eat tastes like chicken. I don't know why
this
that
did
is.
not taste like chicken. Tasted like a dirty bug. So let your imagination
Finally,
take
somebody's
it
being
back.
honest. All these food shows and they're eating weird stuff all over the world. Like,
survived.
it's just like chicken.
I survived.
Thank
so
you, Greg. I appreciate the honesty.
A dirty bug.
A dirty bug. Tasted like a dirty bug.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, you fry it and make a pan sauce for it first. Man.
Batter. Batter helps everything.
There you go.
Batter makes it better.
I've heard cicadas can taste a lot like potato chips.
That's
what
really
I've heard.
interesting. So are you gonna collect some?
I think I might. I think we might with
He's
the kids.
already
Like I was
picking
talking
on
to
it.
the kids about it, and they were like actually kind of excited. So I'm like, oh, maybe one of these nights I'll get them out of bed, or grab some flashlights, and go out there.
Feels like a good opportunity for a mid-bit video, which if you haven't been to our YouTube channel, those are a delight. And I feel like you've got to record that if you're going to, especially if you're going to cook it and eat
Agreed.
it. You've
Agreed.
got to record that.
Man, that's crazy.
I'll
try it.
I want documented
Do it, man.
evidence.
Yeah, people are
It
like,
didn't happen if it's not documented, right?
there's people that are like, they're people freaking out over cicadas for obvious reasons because it's millions of bugs and it's very regional, so you might not get like that many in your neighborhood, but you'll probably at least hear them. And some places will be overrun like crazy. But yeah, I was looking at this article, interviewing an entomologist who was like, "This is our Super Bowl. You have no idea. Like, people wait their whole careers for their cicada event.
Wow.
We're really excited." And it's apparently so. These cicada events, they happen, like I said, about every 13 or 17 years or so. They happen every year in various parts of the world, but like this one is one of the single largest in the entire world. This brood 10 is what it's known as.
Get your T-shirts now.
Brood 10, Brood X, but it's read at Brood 10. The Brood 10, year 2021.
Wow. This will be fun to go back and listen to.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember when? Brood 10. Got the T-shirt.
Does anyone else feel like we missed the potential showdown of who would win in a fight between Godzilla and 007?
I was trying to bring the
talk about that.
cicadas into it.
Yeah, I mean, that can be a third side. the like brood 10 of cicadas can be a third team in the ultimate showdown of episode 103. I do have a story that I wanted to share because I know how I reacted in my head to this, but I want to share for purposes of entertainment. So my wife and daughter and I went to get some fast food. We were in the drive-thru. They're handing us our food. They hand us one straw. We have 2 drinks. So they've handed us our food. They hand us a singular straw. And
As
then
in
they hand
one?
us, I'm sorry.
As in one?
Yes, yeah, one straw. Then they hand us one drink of 2. And then they hand us the second drink that we're expecting. But I've only seen one straw.
Appalling.
Not to that point yet, but yeah, sure.
Does somebody get shot?
No, fortunately.
Okay.
So I just think they might have just grabbed a straw initially, not realizing I had 2 drinks. So I'm just going to say, hey, I just need one more straw, and then I think we're good to go. And this person in the window looks at me and just says, "You'll get it." Just like that.
This is not Chick-fil-A, right?
This is not Chick-fil-A. I won't say who it was, but that's the response I get from an older, more stern-looking worker. Yeah. Just nothing else. Just you'll get it, like that. And so my initial reaction was, in an industry worse for wear, I make no assumptions. In fact, your industry has shown me I can't trust you, and all of you should be ashamed of yourselves. Now, that was the first thing that I thought of and pulled over after we left the drive-thru because I was sort of chuckling to myself. And that might sound really elitist, but anyone who's listened knows that I've worked fast food before. My expectations, they work very hard and are not paid very much to do what they do all day long.
Right.
But I just thought that's about the worst response you could have to somebody who nicely asked for something. Even if it was already in your hand and I said it, it's just give me no problem, and hand it to me, and we can move on.
At least put an open there. Yeah,
at least put an open there. And even an open in front of the "you'll get it" would have made it better, right?
Yes.
Like, you'll get it. And then it would have sounded sweet and charming, like a 50s ice cream shop worker or something, where I would have thought, oh, no problem, they got me covered. I don't know. That just felt unnecessarily gruff for me, just wanting to confirm that I was getting another straw. So that was it. I wanted to share that story.
You wanted to use the power of the podcast.
I did. It just felt so aggressive. Like, I mean, I don't think anyone's like, oh yeah, every fast food place gets my order right all the time. I never even have to think about requesting things that I'll need to eat my food and drink my drink. I don't think anyone feels that comfortable with the efficiency of the fast food system.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't.
You can't go through McDonald's and get chicken nuggets without like side-eyeing the person handing you your bag and just be like, open it up and looking for that sweet and sour sauce that they
just want to be sure.
Did forget.
Yeah, you just want to be sure.
Yeah.
We went somewhere else. We went to Chipotle.
Did you get your straw?
Yeah, I did get it.
So they were right.
Okay.
Well, I shouldn't have spoken, is what. I should have just sat there and taken it like a good consumer and just shut my mouth. Well, even Chipotle, who normally delivers a very good overall experience, the last several times has messed up the orders. And so I'm like, this is widespread. And I get that there's all kinds of stuff going on in the world. I don't know. It felt super aggressive. It felt unearned.
I'm sorry.
It felt unearned for asking for a straw. But that was it. That was my story.
Do you guys do the food delivery service like Grubhub or Postmates? Have you had the experience where there's always something missing?
Often, yeah.
I don't want to say always, but frequently enough that
I mean, isn't it just an expectation when, for the most part, that one of those items is not going to be in there?
I expect something to be wrong. I haven't. So we often have been ordering for 5 people, and I wouldn't say that regularly we're missing an entire meal.
Yeah, like
but
a
there's
side.
often something. Often there's a side that's wrong. We actually ended up with an extra spaghetti from Olive Garden.
Hey,
that's
a good thing.
I think it's wrong frequently enough that I look at how much the order would cost and then all the fees and tips, and I go, not worth it.
Yeah,
just doesn't. I'll just go pick. I'll do curbside and go pick it up now at this point.
Yeah.
I had this experience I think a weekend ago, maybe 2 weekends ago, where our mom took our kids up to her boutique in Amish country. And so Sherry and I had a 24-hour period to ourselves. And my mom was like, you guys going to go out? Are you going to do something fun? And we're like, no, we're going to stay here and do nothing and have no one asking us questions. Yes. And we just Netflixed and chilled. Can I say that? We just hung out at our house. And this cool thing happened where I was going to take a nap. I haven't taken a nap in a while. And so Sherry had already expressed earlier in the week, hey, I'm really excited. We got this 24-hour period to ourselves. I'm thinking that we're going to get City Barbecue delivered. And I was like, that sounds great. So I sense myself dozing off. It's about 5 o'clock p.m. And I say, hey, if you wanted to place an order for City Barbecue, we're about an hour away from when we would probably want to eat. You might want to go ahead and place that order. Ding dong! I finished the sentence and then woke up to the food being delivered.
Nice.
I felt like I was in the future.
So you got a good hour nap
here.
Yeah.
It was like a Jimmy John's commercial.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
It was like, you know how you go to sleep and you wake up and it feels like no time has passed at all. It was like, you better place that ding dong. I was like, that's what the
freaking
future looks
scary.
like. And I like it. I had a food experience at the drive-thru, Dillon, and I like to take each of my kids on a date every once in a while. And so it was Case and I's turn to do a father-son thing. I say, I'm going to get him a chicken nugget Happy Meal from McDonald's. And I'm going to get myself a combo with a milkshake, and we will take it to the lake, and we'll just set up a little blanket and sit at the lake. This was like at night, sun was setting. This would be great. So get his Happy Meal. I'll have a double quarter pounder combo meal, no onions. And instead of a drink, I'd like a chocolate milkshake. I'm sorry, I can't do shakes right now. Of course! We've talked about McDonald's ice cream machines so many times in this podcast. And then somebody shared on our community page on Facebook that there's like this whole huge conspiracy theory about how the company that manufactures these shake machines, there's this secret combination code and there's only one way to get access. There's this huge article in one of the tech magazines. I forget which it was. You guys got to check it out. Go to our community page if you've ever wondered why in the world McDonald's ice cream machines always seem to be broken. There's a conspiracy.
Well, somebody shared that article, and I said, just fly the McDonald's flag at half-mast when the machine's not working. And then
Yes.
you'll know when
Yes.
you pull up. You just, half-mast, turn it around, let's go home.
Wired. I
Indeed.
think it was Wired magazine. Check that out.
Yeah. I mean, Krispy Kreme has the sign that lights up to let you know they have fresh donuts. Just
Easy.
do that. Light up a sign when the shake machine
Make
is
it
working.
literally just an ice cream cone neon sign in a window that
Yep.
they can like flip on with a remote control.
Yeah.
And
Ice
if
cream.
it's circle and a line through it, no ice cream today.
No ice cream.
Either way, however they
ice
want to
cream.
do it. You know what? It's their system. They can own it. I just think at some point a system should be developed. And that's where I'm at.
Literally everybody agrees.
Nothing
There's not a
controversial.
there's not a single person out there who's like, wait a minute.
Yeah, this isn't like picking Bond over Godzilla.
We've
This
got-
is no controversy.
We've
Just
got 100%.
So,
Anyway, with that said,
with that said,
we're going to take a quick break. We're going to hear from one of our good friends at Odd Pods Media Network, and we'll be right back.
Hey, I'm Pantsless Aaron,
This is Stevie.
And I'm Augie.
and we are BFYTW, a podcast all about playing games and having fun. Our games are usually based on British panel shows and game shows, but we'll play anything that captures our attention and imagination. Why? It's right there in the title.
You'll never guess what the F stands for.
and we're back. Man, that's fun. Hey, crazy story, and this is also part of the reason that Greg is here. So 2 Fridays ago, my wife surprised me and bought me a Harley. Crazy. And Sherry and Greg were in cahoots for like 2 months.
This is a time for one of those button pushes.
I don't know which. We'll try this.
Give it
guy
a
here.
whirl.
That's lame. That's lame.
It did cost money.
We'll try that.
Windows just rebooted. Good.
Here we go.
All right.
So our oldest daughter, Lily, it does relate. I like context, so just work with me. She has decided that she wants to transfer to a private Christian academy. And so she's going to start her freshman year at this school. But before making that decision, we said you need to do research about the school. You need to come up with a list of pros and cons, present that to us, and then if you want, we can go tour the school. So on this specific Friday, we toured the school. Lily got to, the vice principal showed her around, and we had just a lot of, just a really good experience there. And afterward, Sherry said to celebrate, Lily had a great experience. It was really cool. We're pretty sure we're going to do this. To celebrate, I'm going to surprise you with dinner. And I was like, all right. So she blindfolds me and puts on these noise-canceling headphones and says, whatever you do, don't take them off. Promise me you can't see anything. And then I could tell that she was like driving around in circles in the parking lot to try to disorient me to like where we were located.
Did you feel like it was the end?
And I'm like,
It's beginning.
I'm glad the kids are in the car. This is where she takes me to a woods. So anyway, I'm like 10 or 15 minutes later, I'm kind of stumbling around and still blindfolded, still noise canceling headphones. We're at the Harley dealer and she says, we got you something, and walks me to the front doors of Faro, which is America's oldest Harley Davidson dealership.
It is.
Where there's a 2011 Street Bob with a sold sticker and my name on it. And I'm like, what? There's video of this. We'll post it to our social media channels. But so now this is where we get to tell the story of how it happened. She hit it out of the park. So this goes back to when we talked about the electric Harley 2 episodes ago. That was when Greg and I were together at the demo truck at the Harley dealer. And that day we walked through the dealership and I said, see that one right there? That's one that I would take. Well, 2 months ago, I guess, this is where you can pick up.
At least, yeah.
Yeah, Sherry said to you that she was ready for me to own a motorcycle and said, Greg, let's start looking. But neither of you really knew what I was looking for or what I wanted. So you pick up and then...
Well, she had more confidence in me than I had in myself to choose a motorcycle for you. That's kind of a big thing. You know, I mean,
because I'm not particular at all.
You know, I mean, we've talked and we've done a couple of those demo rides, and I know you checked a couple of them off your list. You know, the Breakout was no longer a contender, a few others, but you know, you were kind of there. Do I want a Street Bob? Do I want a Slim? Do I want a Lowrider S? So, you know, and we're talking, this is, I don't know that I'd want someone making that choice for me. So I was like, well, Sherry, you know, I'll keep an eye out and I'll, you know, look around and I will do the best I can, but, you know, I'm not really confident in this. But she's like, you got this, you know what he wants. This is going to be fine. You call me up when you see something, it's a good deal. You know, all I need you to do is write it back to the house. So, you know, it was pretty much in a box and wrapped up nice and pretty for her. But, you know, the course of 2 or 3 months, however long it was, I did not see anything. And I was putting effort into it. I was like, you know, I'm looking for a blue Street Bob. I think that's what, you know, I think that's his jam right now. Yeah. But I just didn't see anything. So she called me up after you had the dinner and you jokingly laughed about,
Yeah, so I'll pick up at the dinner. So I'm sensitive to the fact that it's a lot to ask a loved one to be okay with you getting a motorcycle. There's concern. I get it. We don't worry about you. We worry about other drivers. I get all of that. But every once in a while, I really push my luck with Sherry. So the Thursday before Lily's school visit, when this experience happened, we were at dinner outside with the kids. We have a nice patio with Edison lights, and we're all just chilling outside and kind of enjoying the evening. And I said, kids, Daddy's had a long week. You know what we need to do tonight? We need to go get Daddy a motorcycle. And I'm like, I'm really pushing it with Sherry. I had no idea, obviously, that any of this was going on. And Sherry's getting pissed because she's already been working with Greg for 2 or 3 months. And so Lily, without knowing that any of this is going on either, says, what would you even get, Dad? And I said, well, when I was with Greg last weekend, I saw a Street Bob that I really liked, which was like, bing, exactly the information Sherry needed. So she ran inside and she said, I got to do a work thing.
Yeah. Texted me immediately.
And texted Greg immediately and said, he said that you guys saw one when you were there last weekend. And so now they had the information that they needed. Greg called the dealership right away and said, hey, there was one in there. Is it still there? Anyway. Sherry, the whole time, wanted me thinking I needed to save because I just wanted to pay cash for it.
Yeah.
She wanted me thinking I needed to save 100%. And I had about 60 or 70% of the money saved, which is exactly what she wanted me to think. And so anyways, super cool. But the weather for the last week and a half has been absolutely perfect. So I've ridden it every single day. But I wanted to have Greg on because it was 17 years ago that I met Greg, and I had never met somebody so into motorcycles. I did a Facebook post about this, but growing up, our mom's dad had a Silverwing in a barn, but it just collected dust.
Yeah.
Our great-grandpa Rumball had a little farm motorcycle that they just rode from field to field, but I didn't really know anybody or had never met anybody that was as into motorcycles and the lifestyle of owning a motorcycle as Greg. And so over time, his passion just, spilled over onto me. And we've talked about it multiple times on the podcast, how, Greg would let me borrow a bike and we'd ride together, or let me borrow a bike for a day. Took the...
That's the advantage of having multiple bikes. You can let your friend ride when he doesn't have one.
Yeah.
And doing your part to keep the sport alive.
That's right. But even to the degree that, we took the safety course through the state of Ohio, there was no reason for you to take that other than just you not wanting me to take it alone. And you're like, well, it never hurts to, refresh on my safety skills. So you paid the money and took that course with me and would let me borrow bikes for all these years. And so it's kind of a cool bro moment. So once I finally had the bike, I think a day or two later, I said, hey man, let's go on our first ride ever. This love that you have expressed of motorcycles has spilled off onto me. You've been letting me borrow bikes all this time, which a lot of my friends cannot believe you would ever be willing to do that, first of all.
Yeah, I'm pretty incredible, aren't I?
Pretty great. And so I'm like, dude, let's ride our bikes for the first time after all this time. And one of the funny jokes is anytime Greg would let me borrow one of his bikes, whether we were riding together or I was riding alone, I would get the wave from other bikers. There's a 2-finger under the left handlebar wave that bikers give one another. Mm-hmm. And it always felt wrong.
Yeah.
I was like, this isn't really...
A poser.
I felt like a poser. No. So this night...
Just give him one finger.
Or give him a goofy wave.
Hey! How's it going?
I'm learning.
It's not mine. So Greg and I rode together. He has the same model, just a couple years older. So we rode our street bobs together. We went and got ice cream, and then we went to the parking lot where I took the motorcycle endorsement course, and we had a little moment, a little bro hug.
We did. Photo to come.
Photo op, yeah, photo to come. We'll share that with you. But I just want to thank you, man, because anybody that's ridden a motorcycle, understands, but there's nothing like that experience of freedom, of just being the total openness of being on a bike. And I mean it when I say, I really didn't even expect for me to love motorcycles that much and how much fun it is when done safely and under the speed limit. But yeah, I just appreciate this long journey that it's been, and then being a part of helping Sherry. She didn't put any pressure on you at all to try to pick one out, but
kudos to her, because I have a lot of friends that say I'd like to have a motorcycle, but there's no way in hell.
Yeah.
She turned a corner and she was like, "We need to do this. I want to do this for Kory."
Yeah.
So hats off to you, Sherry.
Yeah, 100% Sherry, but you're here. So I wanted to say that to you first, and then I was going to give my wife all the love and say, she said you've worked hard, and this new job, and it allows us to do some things, and so I wanted to surprise you with the difference that you thought you were going to have to save, and yeah, she knocked it out of the park. So she said, "Happy Father's Day." Happy birthday, Merry Christmas for the next 5 years.
And that is all good, right?
Yeah.
You'll accept that. Sure.
But it didn't switch overnight. She's still a little nervous each time I go out, and she checks my location because we share a location, and she can see where I'm at, and she doesn't love me riding at night yet. And
honestly, we should all be a little nervous when we go out.
Yeah.
Keeps you on your toes.
Yep.
Once you get complacent, then you're complacent.
Yep.
And that's when things start to go south.
So that first ride together was pretty special. We'll share that picture later. But
you led the way.
Yeah.
I followed you.
Yeah, man.
You were like, I don't know. This is going to be random. Left, right, straight. I don't know where we're going. It's like, that's the way these things are supposed to play out.
Yeah. But it is. I wanted to ask Patrick. So last week, if you're not familiar, we had mental health counselor, Patrick Metal, on, who happens to also be my therapist. And I wanted to ask him, my buddy Greg always said that you never see motorcycles in a therapist's office. Is that true? So he goes, well, there is something to wind therapy. And yeah, it's been a ton of fun. I'm learning the bike. I'm learning what I like about it. I got a phone mount, and I got a saddlebag coming, and a few other parts.
The bike's just the beginning.
Yeah, that's what I hear. Don't tell Sherry that part. But thanks, Greg. Thank you, babe. It's a blast. I rode it here tonight to the studio and get to ride it home. I'm like, any excuse to get out. You're like, does anybody need anything at all from anywhere that I can grab and put in a pocket?
Well, I don't think I have an extra toothbrush.
I'll be right back.
It is. It's the best money I've ever spent. I mean, it's a 2 hour. When I ride, it's a 2 hour vacation, half-hour vacation.
Yeah,
it is. I don't get in the car for a joyride. That's all. It's utilitarian. I use that car to get stuff done, but I get on the bike all the time just to waste time, just to ride and enjoy it. I don't do that with a car.
Yeah.
Cars are inherently flawed. They all have 4 wheels. That's the problem. I don't care if it's a Ferrari or whatever. I mean, 2 wheels is more fun. That's what it boils down to.
Indeed. And I'm learning the subculture of the Harley crew. I mean, there's factions based on the manufacturer that you buy. But then even within that, Greg and I went to this thing at the dealership this weekend called Hot Rods and Handlebars. And I was observing, like, there's a whole bunch of different, like, factions of Harley people. There's, like, the older guys with the long white beards and the leather vests and the chaps and the fringe everywhere and the metal studded leather on their tanks. You've got that crew. Then you've got the vets. Then you've got the hipster cafe riders, like the younger cool guys. And then there's the retro bikers, and there's the stock. We leave our bike stock. And then there's I have like $50,000 in aftermarket parts and neon, and it's got speakers and it bumps up and down. Like, it's so much fun, diving into this world and just learning about all the different, groups.
Take it 100 different directions. Your bike is yours, obviously, but once you get the parts and accessories catalog, then it really becomes yours.
Yeah. So right now mine is completely stock, and Greg said that's great because now it's like a canvas. You can do whatever you want with it. So,
and you're familiar with canvases.
Yeah,
you are an artist.
I know a little something about them.
I think
But
it's
anyway,
Canvi.
But anyway, thanks, man. Thanks, babe. It's a ton of fun. Nobody wants to hear any more about that, but that was newsworthy, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And I'm just enjoying it. And I have the whole season to enjoy it this first year and kind of learn what I like about it and what things I might want to swap out for other parts. And
nothing like having a motorcycle in the garage.
Man, it's fun. Great.
You sent me. You're like,
You sent me a GIF of this guy just like peeking around a corner. And you said, how many times have you looked at it sitting in the garage? And I'm like, how did you know?
I know because I've
right
been
there
there.
with the door open. What are you talking about, Greg?
I'm still
crazy.
there. I'm still there. Every now late at night, I'll pour myself a bowl of cereal and I'll just go sit on the stoop
and look
in
at
the
your
garage
3 motorcycles.
and just look at them. Just look at this.
They're still there.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Look at them. Anyway.
It's fun. A little dream come true.
Happy for you, man.
Yeah, thanks.
That has been a long time coming. I think we all wanted you to get a motorcycle. Everybody did. All of the listeners were like, "When's Kory getting a motorcycle?"
You guys can hop on whenever you want.
I have a question. This is it's not a feel good question, but you guys are so chill. So I recognize that your answer is going to be different, maybe, than everyone else, unless I'm entirely off base here. But within the culture of motorcyclists and looking at the different subcultures that you had talked about, I have, for some reason or another, gotten the impression that there's a little bit of anti-crotch rocket kind of subculture, and we're not going to give you the 2 finger on the way by if you're on a
Yeah, there's some of that with Harley riders, especially. It's these young hot rods, these young guys hot dogging on the bikes. They're pulling wheelies. They're riding 100 mile an hour plus on the freeway, and there's some, but that's even among the Harley culture. Like, guys who ride Softails will give guys who ride Dynas a hard time, or guys who ride Sportsters. Yeah. So there's just always some of this little nitpicking.
There's still some tribalism that occurs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Even within Harley, if you just have a Sportster, that's viewed as like the entry level bike. That you feel every little bit of the road. They're not like the smooth touring bikes or even the Dynas, like the mid size. But yeah, there's all these unnecessary factions.
I just chalk it up to people being. I mean, it's like, do you use a Mac or do you use a Windows machine? Do you with
Mac.
photography?
Mac.
Do you shoot with a Canon? Do you shoot with a Nikon?
Phones, two phones.
Yeah, phones. You got Samsung, Android, iPhone. I mean,
The right
it's
one.
just
Yeah, iPhone.
the right one. So do you
I
play a
don't do
Gibson?
two-finger waves
You play a
for-
Gibson or you play a Fender? That kind of
Yeah.
stuff. So I don't know. It's kind of silly. I've always been of the mindset. If you're on a scooter, if you're on two wheels, you're enjoying two wheels.
But the
there's no guys on-
trikes are the worst. They don't get the wave.
Well, hey, I don't know. I may be just a few years out from a trike. There's no shame in an extra wheel. You're still out in the wind.
Even then, is there a difference between like someone who builds their trike or had a trike built out of a Harley versus like a Can-Am kind of thing? Are those two different worlds?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
I would say so. I mean, the Harley enthusiasts are. I don't want to say it's a closed kind of group, but it can be.
Yeah.
It can be. So the Spiders and the Can-Ams and stuff like that. I think they're probably like, just move on down the road. I don't know if you're riding a trike, but it's a tri-glide. It's a Harley. That's more acceptable than something that's not.
Okay.
So,
But it is interesting to behold. It's like I remember the podcast where I talked about going to the Indy race and just like diving headfirst into a whole culture that already exists that I know nothing about.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I feel right now. I just get to observe and like that. I don't know how many. There was probably 300 to 500 bikes
easy. Yeah.
at the Hot Rods and Handlebars and maybe 150 cars, 150 cars. And so, like, I'm just, I'm a people watcher anyway. So I'm just like, oh, okay.
It is an interesting crowd, isn't it? But, even speaking of the bikes, I mean, with the Livewire, the electric Harley, there's a lot of bad blood with the what they call the faithful Harley. The guys who like the V-twins, the air-cooled, the old school motorcycles. They don't want anything to do with the electric bike. They won't even talk about it. It's just like, that's not a motorcycle. Well, I don't know. I rode it. I was pretty impressed by it. If I would have an electric motorcycle in my garage, no doubt. But and that's even Harley just trying to change and become a little stronger as a company. You need to attract new riders and things like that. So this is Harley making a move that I feel is
technological progress. Like that's,
oh my goodness, yeah.
Even if you even want to take the green part out of it, like it's still technological progress. It's
Well, and they're making an adventure bike now, and some of the folks are sweet on that. A lot of people aren't. So it's strange how this stuff kind of plays out. But that was an incredible ride, wasn't it? That Livewire.
I mean, well, the guy said. I think I said it on the podcast. He goes, "It's all throttle and a bucket of smiles." And Greg and I got off of there, and we were just like,
I had a bucket of smiles
for you, does it?
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, incredible.
But I like what you said the other day, Greg. You said, I'm a music enthusiast who happens to lean toward Rush, and I'm a motorcycle enthusiast who happens to lean toward Harley. But you also got that Triumph, and
I
you're
do
like,
have that Triumph.
you're like, Triumph makes a really nice bike.
They
Shout
do.
out to the Brits.
Yeah, you can't shut, or you're doing yourself a disservice if you shut yourself off. I mean, I'm sure as a musician, a Fender has a different feel than a Gibson has a different feel than an Ovation. Electric and acoustic. I mean, open yourself to all that stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Try it. Life's too short to just say, I just like cream-filled donuts and that's it. Try an apple fritter once in a while.
There you go.
What the heck?
That's the episode title. Try
That's
an
it.
apple fritter
once in a while.
What the heck?
It is interesting to me. You've got the whole world, and there's just this small subset of people who are all about motorcycles, and then I don't know
1%,
anything about that world, and so it's fascinating to me to talk to people who are in that world. To talk about, it's like all of these different, like whether it's cooking, different types of cooking, or sports or whatever. Like pick a genre of life, and you see a microspasm or whatever the word is of the whole world. Mm-hmm. And I think that's fun and interesting.
Yeah,
it is. Well, I have a close friend. She's learned to be a pilot, and she's passionate about flying airplanes. It's incredible. I mean, her enthusiasm is contagious. Just love talking to her about that, and just even you with your art and your illustration. And I remember asking you at one time to paint that that big old canvas for Maddie.
Oh yeah, the scene from Lion King.
And you were like, I'm not used to doing this kind of stuff, painting or drawing other people's stuff and using the oils and everything. So it was a new experience.
Yeah.
It pushed you a little bit further, pushed the envelope a little bit. But just even that kind of stuff, the tactical feel of using your iPad as opposed to drawing on a piece of paper or painting on canvas. I don't know. I just feel like what is that in the circle of life? There's so much to. What are the lyrics? There's so much to see that can never be seen. So much to do.
That
We'll
can never
break
be
into
done.
song here in a minute. Yeah, that can never be done. Get out there and do. Yeah, there you go.
Arrived on the plane.
Blinking, stepping into the sun or whatever. Yeah. So there you go.
Anyway, we were gonna do another pet peeves episode, and one of my pet peeves was gonna be, it drives me crazy when people start a new thing, and then they're all about that thing. All of a sudden, they're the most vocal person about that thing.
All their posts.
And I'm kind of totally doing that with the motorcycle.
I was gonna say,
You know the person that like joins a gym for the first time in like 13 years, and they're like, no pain, no gain. Like the first week that they're there, they check in every day. Yeah, I'm doing that. Sorry.
That's okay. We'll cut you some slack. You're allowed to with this.
Yeah, I got like
It's like a new baby.
the Harley shirt, the Harley hat, all the things.
next thing you know, you're gonna get the Harley F-150, whatever it is.
The pickup truck.
Yeah.
Gonna get a full back tattoo of the bar and
Just the
shield
bar
and
and shield.
V-twin on your forearm. Heck yeah.
Yeah. Anyway. Hey, Dillon.
How's it going?
Is there anything you wanted to say about that?
No,
Is there anything you wanted to say about me and my motorcycle?
I have nothing to contribute.
Do you have any questions about me? Because I've got a motorcycle now.
No, it felt like a long time coming, but it was still surprising, and I was just genuinely excited for you, and I can leave it at that. Like, you're gonna have countless memories riding the bike, and I'm excited for you.
You know when you were probably most excited? When I sent you that picture from my lunch the other day of the motorcycle parked perfectly in the center of Taco Bell.
Yeah,
Framed by the arches of the entryway of the Taco Bell.
Yeah.
It was wonderful.
you need to tag the bell on that on social media because
You do.
it's going on a commercial.
You do, and Harley.
I didn't see that one.
Yeah. I knew Dillon and Kendall would love that. So
So what is it about Taco Bell?
So
Is it your
now that
favorite
we're back in
restaurants?
studio, that's a great segue. Now that we're back in studio
Yeah.
every week.
Oh well.
Hand it off to him.
Speaking of being enthusiastic. Well, I had this habit of when we would record in person, I would stop at Taco Bell on the way. And so even though I've been eating it while working from home and us not recording in studio, I still had to stop and get some on the way tonight just for I wish I could say just for old time's sake, but I eat it all the time. And also for old time's sake and because I enjoy eating it.
Is
I
it kind
feel
of a-
better about this one. That's
Is it
all.
kind of a Pavlov's dog thing when you know you're coming to record, you start salivating
Well,
and feel like
if by when coming to record you mean when you wake up in the morning, yes. It is.
understood.
Because they have breakfast now.
Yeah, true.
Indeed.
24/7 you can eat it. It's delicious. So yeah, it was delightful. I had a nice time eating my Taco Bell on a nice drive to the studio. It was lovely. So here we are.
Well, I'm glad we're back. This feels really good. I'm so excited. There's all these little things that you don't realize trying to record via Zoom. And I know Kendall cares a lot about the audio quality. And so even if there was laughter amongst the three of us on Zoom, it defaults to one person and mutes the other two.
Yep.
Now, once again, our laughter will overlap with each other and we'll get to
Merge and meld.
Merge and meld. It's just good to be back.
So I propose that at the end of this episode, you guys do a little fade in, fade out of Aerosmith Back in the Saddle.
As long as it's less than 3 seconds so that YouTube doesn't flag it.
Well, and even that's a myth because 3 seconds is still 3 seconds of illegal.
Gotcha.
I
Well,
was thinking
know-
Peter
yeah.
Cetera. A little like Glory of Love, right? Coming back together.
Oh yeah.
Just
Aerosmith.
think about after you're done listening to this, just Google that song and listen to it so we don't have to pay for the rights to
I'm
it.
probably not even allowed to sing Lion King then.
Probably not.
Well, I mean,
Flagged.
there's a little, I think, leeway there. I don't know if there's.
You saying I was pitchy dog?
That's not what. No, that's not what I was saying. What I was saying was,
Wow,
I mean,
that
if you
turned.
were, it was because of the quality of the recording, and
Yeah,
this is
that's right.
because you just got done talking about how good this podcast probably sounds, and I'm over here thinking, this is the first time I've done this in 14 months, and I'm doing it differently than I was 14 months ago.
Yeah.
So friends, what I'm telling you is expect it to get better.
Temper your expectations.
Temper your Hey, maybe this one sounds fantastic.
Maybe it does.
I don't know yet. I'm going to find out pretty soon.
Well, I'm looking forward to doing this more
Is
often.
the record button on?
Oh, shoot.
Are we good?
Son of a...
Okay.
Yeah, we're good.
Great.
Love you guys.
Take us out, somebody, for the love of God.
ArtiusMan.com, ARTIUS man.com is a place where you can go and you can buy some amazing smelling beard products. That's their specialty, beard oils and balms and mustache waxes and all of that stuff where they don't use the cheap fragrances. They use
That's
the
right.
actual oils, and it smells fantastic.
I love the smell.
You will love it. Your lady will like it. If you're the
maybe
lady,
Kory's lady.
your man's going to like it. They also have other men's grooming products on there with the same great smells. They've got swag. They have a pretty sweet logo, actually, that looks good on a hat that they'll sell to you as well. Anyway, go there. When you're checking out, put the discount code
The middle. That's the middle.
all one word, in the discount code. If it's your first order, you're going to save 25% off. Helps you, helps Artius Man, helps us. We all appreciate it.
Yep. Greg, thanks for joining us tonight, man.
Hey, it was great to be back into the tree house with you guys.
Yeah, thanks for being our
A
fourth
lovely, lovely evening.
chair. Yep.
Anytime.
really nice.
that we invite you.
Aerosmith, back in the saddle.
Just pretend it's playing.
Yeah, you can play it. Yeah, you can go listen to that. But yeah, thanks, guys. Time well spent. Till next time.
Bye.